Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu sana. Yes. There is a lot of political confusion in Kenya today. And you will largely agree with me that as of now, it's still too early to predict who might even be president next year. Because in the past election, we have seen that in Kenya, you can only predict the next president or the next leadership maybe 3 months to the general election or to the election itself. So as of now, it appears it's still too early. But amidst all that and amidst all that confusion, there are 4 factors. I don't know whether to call them forces of nature or what, but these 4 factors, if you look at them objectively and keenly, you can see clearly who is going to be the president next year. So in this video today, I want us to look at the 4 factors and see clearly, without any doubt at all, who is going to be the president next year. Yes. So the first factor, ladies and gentlemen, the first factor is the age variation. Young, old, young, old. The presidency since independence has been rotating between young and old, young and old, young and old. The first president of Kenya was Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta took office when he was around 63 years old. And I want you to listen to me carefully. Jomo Kenyatta took office when he was around 63 years old. He was succeeded by Moi when Moi was around 54 years old. Then Moi was succeeded by Kibaki when Kibaki was around 71 years old. Kibaki was succeeded by Uhuru Kenyatta when Uhuru Kenyatta was around 61 years old. So if you look at this trend or sequence, it's an older person succeeded by a younger person, then an older person, then a younger person. So most likely, the next president who will take after Uhuru next year, assuming this trend is to continue, will be somebody older than 61 years old. Will be somebody older than Uhuru Kenyatta when Uhuru Kenyatta first became the president of Kenya. And looking at the top contenders as of now, assuming the status quo are to remain the same as of now, most likely as of now, you can just predict that maybe next year we might have a Ruto or a Raila duel. Assuming it turns out to be a Ruto, a Raila duel, then I strongly believe Raila will become the president in the morning. Because for this trend to continue, then the president who will succeed Uhuru must be somebody over 61 years old next year. By next year, Ruto will be 55 years old. Raila will be about 78 years old. So technically, if this sequence and trend is to continue, Raila will be the president. Raila will be the president. The second factor, ladies and gentlemen, is a very interesting one. When Moi became the president in 1992, his first official opposition leader was Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Unfortunately, Jaramogi died before he could see Moi vacate office. So Moi's first official opposition leader, who was there to see Moi vacate office, was Kibaki, and Kibaki became the president. When Kibaki vacated office in 2013, his first official opposition leader, when Kibaki first became the president, was Uhuru Kenyatta. And Uhuru Kenyatta became the president. In 2022, assuming Raila will be there to see Uhuru vacate office, then if this trend also is to continue, Raila most likely will be the president, because Raila was Uhuru's first official opposition leader when Uhuru became president in 2013. If that trend is to continue, then again these factors are just favoring Raila Amolo Odinga. These are the forces of nature that dictate things, how things happen. Another factor, ladies and gentlemen, is that in Kenya, no single candidate has ever contested for the presidency for the first time and won. You know, sometimes history repeats itself. No single candidate has ever contested for the presidency for the first time and won. So assuming that next year also we have a Raila Ruto duel as the leading contenders, then definitely, most likely, Raila again will beat Ruto, because of this factor that no single candidate has ever contested for the presidency for the first time and won. So if it will be a Raila Ruto duel, I'm seeing Raila becoming the president. Oh, very simple. And then finally, the fourth factor, ladies and gentlemen, is that in Kenya, it's not all about the people deciding who becomes the president. It's from the past election. We have always seen some heavy hand, some unseen hand, also having influence on who becomes the next president. What we call the system and the deep state. And I want you to look at it from this perspective. Raila Odinga was in the opposition, Uhuru Kenyatta's fiercest critic. Miraculously, out of nowhere, Raila and Uhuru have a handshake. And as I talk right now, Raila comes out as Uhuru Kenyatta's closest political ally. And as I talk, rumors doing rounds behind the scenes are indicating that Uhuru already has endorsed Raila Amolo Odinga behind the scenes. And Uhuru, as of now, is trying to pull the strings from behind to make sure Raila becomes the president. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. An opposition leader becoming the incumbent's most preferred candidate. What a coincidence. So this also just brings us to the whole thing of the deep state or the system. That the system in Kenya also largely influences who becomes the president. And you can see with all these factors, the deep state is carefully and through maybe nature aligning themselves to Raila Amolo Odinga. All these things are just the works of nature. These are things you can't dictate, you can't control. They just happen that way. An opposition leader becoming the incumbent's maybe preferred candidate. These are forces of nature beyond our control. So from where I sit, ladies and gentlemen, even though the political stage still appears to be a little bit hazy, not very clear, if you look at all these four factors, you can accurately predict who is going to be the president next year. And that person, from where I sit, without taking sides, appears to be Raila Amolo Odinga. If you look at all these four factors, that comes out very, very clearly, ladies and gentlemen. Assuming the status quo remains the same, assuming William Ruto becomes Raila's main competitor next year, Raila will win the presidency. Yes. So before I conclude, if you've just bumped on this YouTube channel for the very first time, kindly subscribe and also give this video a like. Give it a like, please. Thank you. God bless you. For those watching us outside of Kenya, for the very first time, drop a comment and let us also know from which part of the globe you are also watching us from. And to our continued fans and subscribers, God bless you. God bless Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu.